Dropped everything down like an hour ago. So my bag was not strapped in with a cord, a bungee cord. I'm sure he used much more better things than this. But this is what I'm talking about today. That all of us can relate to this tension cord, to this bungee cord. This is our life. And today I'm going to be talking to you how we all relate to this bungee cord. Oh, by the way, some really old, nice man found my luggage an hour away from my house and called us. And so when I got home, I had all my stuff, but I didn't have it in Florida. But I did get it when I got home, so that was a good thing. So, yay! All right, okay, so here we go. This is what I'm going to talk about, the tension cord. All right. Here we go. We're just going to go straight into it. This is what we're going to talk about, our tension cord. This is how our life starts to look like a tension cord. Point number one is when we say yes to Christ, this is what happens. In 1 Peter 1:15-16, it says, but just as he who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do. For it is written, be holy because I am holy. All right, let's do that again. Be holy because I am holy. All right, good job, guys. Be holy because I am holy. She was up here and she was talking about holy. So I don't even have to go into that much into it, but I am going to talk about that. Here's the thing. Right now, there's no tension on it, right? It's just there's no tension. But when we say yes to God, we then pick a side. And the tension will start. Do you guys hear that? When we pick a side, the tension's going to start. So I'm going to go on to, we're going to go really quick. I'm going to go on to what is being holy. And the lady that was up here that she was singing, so easy. So point number 2 is, what is it to be holy? Because God tells us to be holy. Point number 2, what is holy? Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you will be able to test and approve that God's will is good, pleasing, and perfect will. So he tells us to be transformed. So we come up here and we say yes to God, right? We pick a side, and then we have to be holy. So when we pick a side, we now say we're a part of God's team. And your last name is now holy. When you pick a side, you're now saying, hey, you're going to wear all white. We are now going to wear the same uniform so God can identify us. When my kids were younger and we would go to the park, as soon as we opened the door, my kids were gone. Like, gone. And don't tell my husband, well, he's here, so now you're going to find out that I lost them a few times. And it's a true story. And I couldn't find him. And Jonah thought it was funny, like he hid, and he thought like it was funny to see mom go, Jonah, like a crazy person in the park. And Jonah just thought it was funny, and he just hid longer. It didn't help. So I've learned to not talk. But the thing that I learned is I started wearing bright colors. Bright yellow, bright blue, bright green, all the neon colors. So when we went to the park, I would put them in the same color shirt. Do you guys know why I would do that? So I can find them. Because they were now set apart in color. And there's something that has to be different with us. We have to look different. Yes, holy means set apart. It means that we're going to be separate from the rest. And what does that look like in real life for you guys? That looks like by our actions. That looks like our behavior. That's just not just in the clothes we wear, because there are far too many people. I need for you guys to hear this part. There are far too many people in life that say, hey, I'm Christ. There are far too many, let's call it what it is. There are far too many celebrities that are out there saying, yeah, I love Christ, I love Jesus, but they're far from having the last name holy. And you guys are out there watching it, and you guys are like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to look like. No, that's not what you're supposed to look like. Your walk should be different. I'm telling you, if you guys are walking like this, that ain't no holy walk. I'm going to show you guys a holy walk. Just kidding. Everyone walking around like this. It should look different. You should look different in your schools. God has called you to be set apart. Go on and wear on the neon shirt. But here's the thing. God doesn't need you to wear the neon shirt. It's not for him. It's for other people around you. Because you don't know when you're walking into school and that person that is sitting next to you, you don't know if they're struggling with suicide. You don't even know if the person a couple of rows behind you are struggling with suicide. And they came to church to feel seen, and you walked around in your little group not seeing them. Oh, that hurt just a little too deep. I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to go there. But God has called us to be set apart. Are you looking set apart? Or are you just blended in with everybody? We live of this world, but we live in the world, but we're not of the world. So where does the tension point start? The tension point starts where you say yes to God, and that part is your flesh. And the more you pull towards God, the more tension there will be. The more you pull, the harder it's going to be. Do you hear that? God is calling you to live out of it. So there's this constant struggle because you live in the flesh. This is not our permanent residence. Our permanent residence is in heaven, and it's our inside. Our spirit is saying, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go to heaven. But we're still here because God has a mission for you. Guys, hear this. Don't stop gatekeeping. Stop gatekeeping God. What that means is you guys are you're going to school, you're going to games, you're going to places, and instead of sharing others about God, you're deciding to gatekeep Him. That's the one thing we don't need to gatekeep. I'm going to talk a little bit about part number 3, the tension time. In Galatians 5:17 it says, I did the wrong copy paste, so we're going to have to read over this. The sinful nature wants to do evil. It wants to do what?
Evil.
Oh, okay. Which is just the opposite of what the Spirit wants. Did you guys just hear that? It's just the opposite of what the Spirit wants. And the Spirit gives us desires that we are the opposite of what the sinful nature desires. That's confusing. These two forces are constantly what? Fighting each other. They're constantly what?
Fighting each other.
They're constantly fighting each other. So you are not free to carry out your good intentions. The tension point. They're constantly fighting each other. Your spirit says, I want to go to church. And your flesh says, but you're tired. Your spirit man says, let's get up early and let's connect to God. But you say, I just want to sleep a little bit more. Your spirit man says, hey, I want you to go invite that person. And you say, no, I can't because that's just a little too hard. I don't know them that well. Guess what? You're not called to minister to everybody you know so well. You need to go outside your box. And sometimes it will feel uncomfortable because what are we doing? We're going against what our flesh does. This is in the Bible. You're not the first ones to feel this. You're not the first ones to feel that it's so hard. It's so hard to come to church. Because as soon as, look guys, I'm going to be honest with you. God did not tell us, hey, once you start serving me, life is going to be peachy keen. It actually might get a little bit harder sometimes because now you're actually fighting. Because this is what you need to hear. You need to know that you are worthy. Last Sunday we celebrated Easter, the resurrection of Christ. And he went through a lot. Christ went through a lot dying on the cross. And he wanted to stop because he was human. He was in this flesh. He understands more than anybody what it feels like when you don't want to continue on anymore. He knows, genuinely knows that pain, what it feels like to keep pressing in even when you don't want to press in. And at any point, he could have said, no, this cross is too heavy. I'm just going to take it off. But this is what he thought of. This is 100% what he thought of. He thought of Cody. He thought of Nate. He thought of Ian. He thought of Ezra. He thought of every one of you. And he said, no, I'm going to keep going because they are worth it. You are worth it. And just as much as you're worth it, there's an enemy on the other side saying, I want them too. You're the good player in the team that God wants out there all the time. And guess what? If you see anybody, oh, there we go. There, thank you guys. I have a question. Any of those that play sports, don't raise your hand, but just listen. Any of those that play sports, there's that one good player, right? Whether it be a football, basketball, volleyball, you're like, there's that one good player. And you guys are playing up against them, and it's really hard, and you're fighting the whole time. And that one player takes a timeout. They go sit out. They're going to sit out for, say, 5 minutes, 2 minutes. Do you guys think at that point when the good player is sitting out, oh, we got them beat? Or are you thinking they're resting up and they're going to come back stronger? You are that good player. And God needs you to tap into Him. When you're resting, you're resting in him. And he's giving you strength again and again. So this is what it means. So you guys have to actively choose every day to fight against that tension. Actively choose every day to fight against that tension. If God is telling you, I want you to wake up in the morning. If God is telling you, I need you to pull away from friends, just like that girl that your own peer was telling you. That's hard. That is hard. I used to be, a long time ago, we don't talk about how long ago it was, but I was in high school. I was on the dance team, I was a cheerleader, I was very known in high school, and my senior year in high school, God was like, hey, are you ready to get real? And in my room, by myself, nobody around, not at a church service, just by myself, I got real with God. And I'm going to be really, really real with you because I want you guys to be real with me. So here's the thing. Senior year in high school, I was contemplating taking my own life. And I'm sitting there, and I had a knife, and I, was like, I'm done. And the sad thing is I didn't even have anything really that big that was going on. Like, actually, I was pretty spoiled. Like, my parents basically gave me everything. I had a really good life. I had a good life. But the enemy had convinced me. He had lied to me. And I started to believe those lies as truth. And there in my room, I was wanting to take my own life, and God said, why don't you actually give me a chance? Like, really, really give me a chance. And I said, okay. And it was at that point that I then started living for God. And it's the craziest thing, but I went from I would go to the cafeteria, and I would sit around all the popular people and all the popular things. And when I decided to give my life to Christ, I knew I had to sever it. I literally had to cut it off. I had to separate myself, and I literally had to look very different than what I was before. I was a person at the parties. My dad would just give me money. It wasn't a good thing. My dad would just give me money, and I supplied all of the alcohol at the parties. It was purchased by my money. So I severed it, and everybody got mad at me. And they got so mad at me because I was no longer doing that. They started to do very mean and hurtful things to me. Key my car. They started to do all that kind of stuff. And I had to sever it. I had to push it apart. I had to look different. I couldn't play that part anymore. I would eat lunch in the library alone. That sounds really sad, right? I would go to my car sometimes and eat there by myself. Because I knew that I had to be different. I had to separate myself. I had to put on the yellow shirt, and I had to be different. And where does this all start? This starts, guys, in your Bible. This starts in your intimate time. It starts on the inside, and what happens on the inside is going to start coming out on the outside. And if God's asking you to do hard things, if it's starting to get more attention, that means because your spirit man is rising and your old man is dying. Because you continue to put that tension in it. I don't think if you heard that, I'm going to say it again. If the tension starts to get harder, it's because your spirit man is rising and the old man is dying. And the enemy gets really upset about that. But this is what I need to tell you. This is the last point in the tension cord. And this is what I did. My senior night in the room in my bedroom with nobody else around, this is what I did. Point number 4. I spoke up. God's calling you to speak up. James 4:7 says, submit yourself then to God. Say this word with me. Resist. Say it again. Resist. Say it again. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Resist the devil. That's hard. Y'all, that's really hard. I'm an adult. And even here now, I have a hard time resisting the enemy. Even like right before, can you grab this please and take it over there? Even still today, the enemy comes and he starts to whisper, you can't do this. He starts to say, you remember that one time you lost? And he starts to put these titles over us. And tonight, there's one thing I need for you guys to do. I'm going to ask for the leaders to come up here because you're not in this alone. The leaders are here because they want to